Welcome to the Pennywise Financial Podcast. Constantine here, Monarch Wealth Management, with my co-host today, Dave Georgiev. And Dave, why don't you introduce our guest?
Yes. Well, we have the wonderful Liz Beeler from the Allstate Insurance, the Liz Harley Agency. Liz, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Wow, that sounds so official.
Yeah.
The three of us work together, right? So why don't you give some insight? I don't think anybody knows that.
So we worked together, I think 2011 is when I actually met Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day.
Back in the day, and we had a wonderful working relationship. We bonded immediately. And then you came along in 2016.
Don't worry about when I came along. Don't worry about me.
Maybe 2013, 2012, 2013. Yeah, a little bit after.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, and you came into the picture, which was amazing. And then I had this dynamic duo along with myself, and it was just friendship that is still going on, about 10 years later, which is awesome.
I'd almost say like superheroes uniting.
That's right, we are.
Kind of.
It's actually like 12 years, Liz.
12 years. Oh, you're right, 12 years, yeah. 12 years.
I mean, we're in finance.
Not good with math. But.
Yeah. No, it's okay. It's fine. Who's counting?
Yes. So Liz, just so we can understand just a brief summary of kind of what you do and what you offer clients, can you just give kind of like a 30-second overview?
Yeah. So what I offer clients is obviously the property and casualty insurance, business insurance, auto, home, liability, anything that you really need, and go over what you have to make sure that you're properly insured, not overly insured or underinsured. And a lot of folks are focused on price, but the biggest thing to me is to make sure that you have the right coverage for what you need in your life.
Sure.
That's a lot. I mean, there's so many things to know about insurance, right? I mean, I think of the life policies and different things that we offer, and the contract is like 75 pages.
Yeah.
And you see the commercials all the time. Mayhem, he's one of my favorites.
Yeah, your commercials are great.
Love them.
Yeah.
Great marketing. But the tree, my neighbor's tree fell on my car. The radio was turned on. The air conditioning was off. The windows were down. Is my car covered? Is it my claim? Is it my neighbor's claim? Like all those kind of things. How do you keep up with everything?
Well, obviously, excuse me, we have to ask a lot of detailed questions to make sure that we're giving them the correct information. Every little detail does matter when it comes to a claim, believe it or not. And so, if it is your neighbor's tree, it's actually going to come off of their policy, not yours. And folks don't realize that, or their neighbor will tell them, no, you have to call your insurance company. That it's a lot of finger pointing. So there's a lot of different information needed to make sure that we're responding correctly, and also making sure that the claim is being associated to the appropriate party.
Who's the final judge and jury on that? Like, I crash into Dave's car. It's your fault. No, it's your fault. Like, who decides?
So that goes to we have a claims department that's in New York, and they have a conversation with the other party's insurance company. And there's always, even though we're in theory a no-fault state, in the insurance world,
what does that mean? I don't even know what that means.
So police officers love to tell people that we're in a no-fault state, which is true, but is not true. So what that means?
So they're telling lies.
Pretty much.
Great. Thank you, officer.
Yeah, they're telling you that it's a no-fault state, meaning it's not up to them to determine whose fault it was, unless it was due to someone drinking under the influence or clearly riding through a red light. So what that does is it puts it back into the insurance carrier's laps for them to figure out who has the most fault at claim, to see which company's paying out for the claim.
So do the two insurance companies talk and they say, hey, Liz, this is really your client's fault. And you both say, yeah, that's fine. Let's go have a beer. And they pay out the claim.
In theory, yes.
Pretty much?
No beer, but yes.
No beer? Okay. We tried.
They go over that, and there always has to be a fault, and the fault is never like 50-50. It's 51-49, again, for that carrier to pay out the claim.
Oh, wow.
So folks don't realize that, and that's not really for you to realize. That's for me to explain. And it does make a difference, because it can go on your license as either an at fault, which charges you more points against you, in theory, in the insurance world, or not at fault, meaning you were not at fault. The other party's company, they either didn't have the proper insurance or they had no insurance.
Oh, that's fun.
And you're paying out of your policy regardless.
Wow. So I don't know if you know this. Dave and I have a couple different business ventures, but one is a property down in Florida. And I heard that Florida, the stat is Florida has one of the highest percentages of accidents where it's hit and run because the other party is not insured. They might not even live in the country.
So in Florida, anything goes. And
Oh,
as I don't know
man.
if you're aware, but most insurance companies are not insuring anything in Florida
Yeah,
right now.
yeah.
Homes or cars. There's very few people, well, carriers that are actually insuring in Florida. It's very difficult. I feel bad for these folks. They have to turn to FEMA when there's a natural disaster.
Wow.
When the hurricane hit last year that really wiped up the Gulf Coast,
Yep.
my father's insurance went up from like, I'm going to call it like $1,900 a year for homeowners to now it's like $5,200 a year.
Yep.
Just crazy.
Yeah, and the whole insurance market as a whole in the whole United States is upside down right now due to the high. So there are a lot of reasons actually. The natural disasters, which does affect homes and cars.
Mhm.
My death rates are up by 85% this year. I typically have.
Oh my
one year.
gosh.
I am at 10 now as of yesterday, just from auto accidents. So that
Wow.
drives up the cost. Obviously, if you have an accident or any tickets, that goes against you. But everybody is in an insurance pool. There's an insurance score. It's a 1 through 15. One's the best, and there's 3 separate blocks of how you are rated in this pool. And everybody's in a rate pool. So if you're in a 1 through 6, which is the best case scenario, and you have no accidents, no tickets, you're getting the best rate. Even if the rates go up, you still have the best rate due to the class that you're in.
They classify you as maybe lower risk. You're not
Correct.
going to have as many accidents, no speeding, good driving behavior.
Yep. Longevity with a company is a big deal. Folks like to bop around to get a cheaper rate. And what happens is you'll go someplace and you'll get a 15% new customer discount for a year. And then what's going to happen is you're going to see that rate jump back up after the first, well, probably second renewal if they do 6 months. What that is the new customer discount falling off. And now you're rated like everybody else in that pool. And now, if you have a higher credit score, in New York State, we're only allowed to rerun your credit every 3 years, or we get penalized, and they don't even let us do it anymore. So we can't even like get you into a lower risk pool for every 3 years. The good news is at Allstate, if you are rerun with your credit after 3 years, and you went worse, we don't raise it. We only lower it if it's better for you.
Oh, I see.
Liz, I do have a question. So I've heard in circumstances. So say I get in a car accident, right? And it's how do I want to say this? If it's my fault, I've heard that the person that got hit. So say it was blatantly like I rear-ended somebody. The person that got hit will find out my car insurance information, and they'll call my car insurance and not notify their insurance.
So people can try to do that.
Okay,
However,
sneaky.
Yes, but
Okay.
they still have to. The insurance companies still have to figure out who the other party is.
So no matter what, my their insurance company would know.
Yeah, unless they have no insurance. Which unfortunately, with the increased pricing of insurance recently, we're seeing more folks just not carrying insurance. Which again, buyer beware. Be careful on your side. Make sure you have the right coverage, because if you hit somebody with no coverage or very little coverage, it's coming out of your pocket if you have everything done correctly.
That's horrible.
So you try to save a few bucks on premiums. Oh, I could save $50 every quarter, or $50 a year. But if I have that scenario, it could cost me hundreds, if not thousands.
I've seen $150,000 bill from one guy. Yeah. So and I understand, excuse me, the affordability. You know, we're all on a budget. Everything is increased with inflation. It's a really tough market, and with the newer war going on top of the other war we had going on, and everything else going on, we don't know where we're heading. I can tell you from a lot of our analysts at Allstate. I was at a conference 2 weeks ago, and you know, things are going to remain the same, if not worse, in the next 12 months prior to this new war. So you know, I'm not trying to be glim, but you want to make sure you have the right coverage, because like you just said, you could be saving even $500 a year, but you have the wrong coverage, and it's going to end up costing you $50,000 out of pocket.
Gee.
You hit a brand new Cadillac Escalade. Those things are $100,000 bill, and if you only have coverage for $25,050, the minimum required in New York State, you're paying out of pocket
The rest is on you.
The rest is on you. Or if you hit one of those poles for RG&E, those things are $75,000 a pop to replace.
Wow.
Your property damage has to be at a certain level. So, it's, people are like, oh yeah, right, that's not going to happen to me. If I had a dollar for every person who said that and then something happened, it's unbelievable. It's very scary, unfortunately. And it's the world we live in. We need to be cautious. You need to protect yourself and what you work hard for. Protect your investment, protect your family.
Yeah, no kidding.
So Liz, if like, and I'm just talking like your standard family, is it wise then, you have obviously your auto coverage, you have your homeowner's insurance coverage. Do you recommend for like, and talk to Liz to find out the details for your specific situation, but having an umbrella policy, does that?
So not everybody needs an umbrella policy.
Okay.
I will tell you that I'm not one to just throw over coverage either. The folks that need an umbrella policy are folks that have young drivers, folks that have a lot of money, folks that have a lot of assets, or folks that own their own business. It's really important to have an umbrella policy because unfortunately the world that I have seen that we are living in is everyone is looking out for an opportunity to potentially make a quick dollar. Like I explained to folks, just because you got issued a subpoena or you're getting sued doesn't mean they're going to win. A judge still has to award the winning to them. But it's still something that you need to have in place. And you can't come and get an umbrella policy for me the second you get served because it's needed. You want to make sure that you're protected. And just like you guys do, we go through and go over a whole profile to make sure that I have you covered correctly for everything that you have worked so hard for and to protect everything that you have. The reason why I say for folks with young drivers are distracted more than anything. I don't care what you've taught Sally or Jesse or John, they are not paying attention. They're looking at their phone whether you believe it or not. Statistics prove it. I've seen it. You want to have the umbrella policy because, again, if they hit somebody, and they cause any type of physical harm, the first thing someone's going to do is turn around and sue you because they're your child, they're on your policy, and come after you to make sure that they feel like they've gotten what they deserve.
Well, this day and age, it's not just the phone. I see your watch. I have a watch. Most people have smart watches, not Dave, but a lot of people do have them, and they're just buzzing or vibrating or dinging or the temptation to want to look down or just even a quick second. You're going 70 miles an hour, you look down, boom, you're off the road.
Yes.
I'm a careful driver, so that's why I don't.
That's why he doesn't have.
That's
a
why I
smart
don't have a
watch.
smartwatch.
Got it. That's the whole reason.
Smart driving, not smart watch.
Correct.
Okay, so nothing for Christmas for you then.
Correct. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Well, what I will say to that is I actually went to Albany back in May. Allstate asked me to go and speak on the behalf of the company. We're trying to use a lot of data from the smart cars and all that information, the technology we have, to push New York State to change from being an insurance score driven rate to a behavior score rate. Now, some folks will love that. Some folks will not like that. We want it to be a choice. And the thing is, with having a behavior based, you can look at your policy and give me a call. Hey, Liz, why did my policy go up $150 for 6 months? And yell at me like you normally do, which is fine. I get it. It's frustrating. And then we can go over it. You know what? You had 72 hard breaks. You went 14 times over 85. The reason why that's beneficial to you, because if you are a conservative driver like Dave, who doesn't have a smartwatch,
correct,
he probably will benefit from the fact that he drives 55 in a 75. And that he stops.
I don't know about that one.
What am I, 95 years old all of a sudden here, folks?
His 1985 Lincoln Continental.
Yes.
That's right.
Let me get my cane.
He has
Thank
a
you.
rolling stop. No. So it can help folks in that way when it comes to their wallet. Some folks like, well, I don't want people watching me, blah, blah, blah. Your smartphone tracks you way more than any other device that's on your car, except for a Tesla. They track you everywhere. You really want to make sure that, potentially these things are going to help you lower the cost. And I've seen some situations where I have a single mother who's recently divorced. Her credit's horrible because of the situation. She's got 3 kids, and she's paying $3,000 every 6 months for a 2013 car, low coverage because her credit score is so awful. So, this is where it could actually benefit somebody in that situation that's just a poor situation that you can't do anything about.
I could see some people getting hurt by it. Some people maybe getting a better rate.
That's why it should be a choice. It should not be dictated. Right now, I will tell you that the insurance score is very indicative of what typically happens with most folks. Things do happen. You hit a deer.
They do.
But with that being said, it has been pretty spot on for the most part, when it comes to the risk piece of it.
Yeah, I mean, even when I was talking to Jason this morning about tenants and credit score and what goes into an application when you bring in a tenant, but credit score and credit worthiness and payment history is a big part of it. But I will tell you 100% after owning rental properties for a long time, even though it's a good indication, you could have a perfect credit score. You could have great payment history. Doesn't mean you're not a slob that's going to destroy a house or maybe be a bad driver. You never know.
100% agree. And again, that's where having these options would definitely be favorable. Senate, they're working on it. I don't see that happening in the next year, but it's something that I feel, again, could benefit some folks, and we should have the choice. It should not be, this is it.
So when you say choice, like I would get to choose, hey, use my credit score or use use Dave's behavior instead of mine. How about that?
Driving 55 and a 75. We're going to get there one day.
May take you 8 hours. But
it's fine.
But yeah, I mean, I think it should be a choice. With us being a heavily regulated state in New York State, there's a lot of things that protect the consumer, but there's a lot of things that New York State enforces that actually unintentionally hurts the consumer and their wallet.
Sure. I just want to make the note that when Constantine was talking about tenants and being slobs, that you could tell there was some
passion.
Yes.
There was some passion.
It's like
there.
some people have great credit and they just leave your home
and I will let you know,
a mess.
Constantine, if you have a landlord's policy and you do the vandalism endorsement,
vandalism
that will actually help you save your pennies when people don't treat the property with the respect that you're
It's a little more than pennies.
I'm sure it is.
Trust me.
So how's that? Wait. How's that work? I've never heard of this type of policy.
So a landlord policy is when you have something that you're renting out, and it's in your name, not in a business name. That's a different.
Oh, so like if it's an LLC, it doesn't apply?
I can do that through a different company.
Oh,
I can.
Okay.
However, it's more expensive. But you always want to add the vandalism as an endorsement. It does cost a little bit more, but there's a deductible like $500. The reason being is, like I just said, folks do not always appreciate the home the way that you do and want you. They don't care about the way you do. And
let's be honest.
Yeah,
they don't.
They don't. And you put your heart and soul and every penny you got into it, and you're hoping that you're giving them a beautiful home, and they come in and there's like 15 holes in the walls and a lot of things that I have seen that I'm just like, oh.
I used to rent to hockey players at SUNY Brockport. I used to have SUNY Brockport houses.
Hockey? Why are you picking on hockey players?
Dude,
you know my son plays hockey.
They trashed the place.
They trashed the place.
Yeah. The inspector came in. They literally took out the fire, the smoke alarms. Unhooked them.
Oh, yeah.
Who unhooks a smoke alarm?
I've had tenants do that. They were not hockey players. It's not just a hockey player thing.
No, it's just they want to do some other things.
So that's true. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Ice sculptures.
Correct. They're hockey
with
players.
chainsaws.
the ice smoke. The ice smoke.
Ice smoke, sure.
So what happens? So they trash my house and I have this vandalism policy in place. What happens?
You take pictures, you submit a claim.
Yep.
And you show proof of
$500 deductible.
Yep. And then you
post it on social media and tag them. Oh, no, wait. That part.
You get an estimate, obviously, first, what's going to cost to fix that.
Yep.
The claims department will go over it and
really?
agree or not agree. It does cost you extra, but I will tell you, again, from experience, I always encourage folks who are renting to do that.
Yeah.
Highly encourage that, just because.
And if you put in a claim, does it increase your premium after?
Of course it will.
Okay.
That's unfortunately, but the thing is, you're paying less out of pocket, and maybe you're going to change the application process when you're looking to rent to different tenants.
Sure.
Just to make sure you see their habits. I mean, it's hard, right? Because there's certain laws you have to go by on that one, but still, it's nice to have that endorsement on there to keep you from spending $20,000 out of pocket.
Yeah.
Food for thought. In hindsight, no, never mind. With that, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back with the show. Do you want help building and managing an investment portfolio that's right for you? One that will help you maximize growth potential while you're saving, help you generate income when you need it most, and eventually preserve what you've saved to leave to your beneficiaries? We do this day in and day out and take the stress and responsibility of making those decisions off your plate. Subscribe to our newsletter, read our blog post, and listen to our podcast to get a flavor of how we do things. Our firm is unique and capable of handling all your investment and insurance needs. needs. Monarch Wealth Management, our guidance, your future. Welcome back to the Pennywise Financial Podcast. Constantine here at Monarch Wealth Management and my co-host Dave Georgiev with our guest Liz Beeler. Welcome back, everyone.
Thank you.
All right, Liz, we looked at policies and we found some landmines where people make mistakes on saving money on premiums. But we did talk about a couple things. Interest rates are high. Mm-hmm. People are concerned about their budgets, right? We've got a war in Ukraine. We've got some new developments in Israel that happened over the weekend. People are kind of wondering where the economy is going, where the world is going. Maybe touch on a few things that people should be thinking about or maybe could be doing to help reduce their costs when it comes to insurance.
So a few things I always suggest. We're really big at my agency to call you up for a review at least once a year. We'd like to go over and see.
Are you actually able to do that?
Yeah.
That's incredible. I mean, how many times have you gotten a call?
From me.
0. Yeah. From Liz.
From me.
Yes.
A couple times.
But my son, who has a horrible driving record, has not made it easy to switch over to Liz.
Yes.
Just
Keep him out of this, please.
Malachi, you're in trouble.
Oh, no.
So I do policy reviews quite a bit because I feel it's important for me as an agent to look at to make sure that I can see any landmines that are hanging out there that I should have a conversation with you. Sometimes you have so much insurance, I call you, I'm like, can you explain to me why you did this? I don't know. My old agent told me to. Okay,
Yeah.
Let's talk about this. I like to go over it to make sure that, things in our lives change. We get older, we have kids, we get rental properties with people who like to vandalize them, things of that nature. So we need to have these conversations so that we can keep up to speed with what you're doing in your life and making sure that we are addressing it appropriately. So in order to save money, like I tell folks, a deductible is just this. You're paying less now or more later, meaning you're paying less throughout the policy until you have an accident. If you have a not so great driving record and you tend to find the deers and they find you, you may want to leave it at the $500 deductible. But if you have been pretty good, you may want to take your chances, go to $1,000. What I tell folks, it's whatever you can get your hands on in like 2 or 3 days.
What are the ranges? Is there like a lower end, like a minimum or a maximum?
So their lowest is $100.
$100.
And the highest is like $2,500.
What do most people do?
On average, $1,000.
$1,000.
Yeah.
Yep. It depends. The older folks like to go less, which kind of seems funny to me because I have more money. And it's just, I think, a comfortability. So when I have that conversation, I'm like, you've never had a claim in 55 years you've been with me. We might want to bump that up a little bit and save you some money, since the Social Security is not keeping up with the inflation.
They might be thinking maybe one's around the corner. I've had 30 years of good luck.
Yep.
My
Just
time
a
is
matter
coming.
of time.
And I always joke with them. I say, the second that we did this is probably going to happen. Yep, thanks a lot, Liz. Like, you're welcome. So that's one thing you can definitely do. The other thing is to take the defensive driving course online. New York State recognizes that. It's good for 3 years or 6 renewals to the date. It can save you an average 10% on the collision piece of your policy. I always hear the pushback, I don't have time, or I know how to drive, or I've been driving for 47 years. I get all that, but why not take advantage of the discount? It costs you on average $27 to $30. You take it once, it's good for 3 years.
Yeah.
You do it online.
Do you do that, Cons?
I did it once in my life.
That's it?
Like
Just
20
once?
years ago. Yeah.
So it's something else that you can take advantage of, and it does make a big difference, especially if your insurance score is a little higher, or if you have kids on the car, or on the policy, excuse me. It helps.
I hope the
with
kids
that.
are not on the car.
On the car. Get back in here.
Get back in the car.
Get them on the policy first.
Yes.
Speaking of, I have a lot of folks that decide not to add the kids to the car. They think that's an option. If they are legally licensed in New York State and they live within your household, even if they go away to college, you are required to put them on the policy. If you do not, and they're in an accident, couple of things. Claims can be denied, which I've seen. And not only that, it can be very costly if that happens, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
But New York State will let us know, and they force you on the policy. And I don't like folks to have anything forced on them. It's not us as Allstate, it's New York State as a whole to every insurance company. They call it an undisclosed driver.
So New York State tattles on you.
Yes.
Okay.
They kind of sound like
Actually-
bullies.
Yeah, I don't
Jiffy,
know.
Jiffy Lube actually is the one that probably not just Jiffy Lube.
Jiffy Lube.
Why are you
Trying to
bringing
get oil
Jiffy Lube in
changed.
this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they put who's in the car.
Jiffy Lube does not do inspections anymore. Side note, I learned
I
this
didn't
over
know.
the
I
weekend.
never knew they did.
Why?
My wife knew. She's like, yeah, I need an inspection. Her inspection expired. What
2
are we
months
in?
ago?
September. I'm like, honey, it's October like 5th. She's like, yeah, I got to get it done. I'm like, you had to get it done last month. Anyway,
Thank you for the sidebar.
yeah, I'm bringing up a lot of family issues.
Picking on your wife, your
Yes,
son.
Yes.
Don't watch Georgiev
Yes.
family.
Yes.
Um, the other thing is same thing when it comes to saving money is on the home deductible. Typically, we start at $1,000 because most folks will not put a claim through on their home unless it's $1,000 or more. Please make sure that you look at that as well. You can go up as high as you want on that. That's up to $5,000 deductible. Again, making sure you have the money, but it saves you now during the policy versus later. And the other thing too is water backup. Water backup is something that most folks don't have in their policy. And what the water backup is, if you're on town or city water and the sewer
Mhm.
or the water from the town backs up into your house or your pipes freeze in the basement, if you don't have that endorsement, it's not covered. I can't tell you how many conversations I have about that. And you're looking at about $80 a year to add that. It's definitely worth it.
Wow.
So if did you say water or sewage?
Sewage,
Ugh.
Yeah, I had that happen to me 3 months after I bought the house. Thank goodness I had that endorsement.
Gross.
I think something like that happened to me. I was renting a townhouse, and it was connected to city water, and something happened with the main, and they divided it by like 5 houses or something.
Yeah.
Sewer
Wow.
water.
Something.
Oh, great
It was
story,
something.
Cons.
Well, especially
Something with a piping or
Cons
plumbing.
is like, one time I had this pipe
Cost
and
money.
things happened with it.
Something happened
Such
somewhere.
detail, Constantine. Thank you.
Well, it really stinks when you have, no pun intended, when you have a finished basement. It
Yes.
happens.
Yes.
Then you have to replace all that. And again, if you don't have that endorsement, it's not covered.
Mm.
Wow. How do you know if you have the endorsement?
You can look on your policy and it says water backup.
Water backup. That's it?
That's it.
Okay, I'm gonna check.
You should now.
Yeah, my sump pump died on
You're
literally
definitely covered.
one of the days that the morning I left for Africa one day. I was like, are you
Aw.
kidding me? Yeah.
Oh, dude.
My buddy Cameron came by, his company came by with fans and stuff, helped me out. Like, it was a blessing. But like,
Goodness gracious.
yeah, especially when you're leaving your family for like 2 weeks.
You're like,
Like,
oh, this is fun.
awesome.
Love you, bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Might smell down here.
Anything else changing on the landscape of insurance, like because of interest rates, things like that?
Oh, wait, can I, real quick to that point, what about the break-ins? The car break-ins.
Oh,
Everyone's
yeah.
stealing cars.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yes, with all these Kias and Hyundais being broken into, that's obviously driving up the cost of insurance.
Kias and Hondas.
Kias and
For those cars
Hyundais.
specifically or
No,
everyone?
just those cars specifically.
Okay.
Because of that whole TikTok thing, the Kia boys, and they break in the car and they show you how you can.
Yeah.
The Kia Boys? Is that
Yes.
like a channel?
It's like a gang. So
Oh.
Oh,
Okay.
You wanna
Don't want
join?
to follow them.
you want to join?
so 2011 to 2021 Kias and Hyundais are very easy to unfortunately break into, and we've had over 400 car thefts in Rochester since January 1 alone.
How many?
400.
But you said easy to break into, but then at that point, easy to start?
Yeah, there's a whole little thing. You can
Oh
watch.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Can you just show us real quick?
I know.
Follow the channel.
I'm joking.
Subscribe.
Follow the gang.
So that has also driven up the price, and to the point that most carriers are not writing any Kias or Hyundais, including Allstate, to 2011 and 2021.
Hmm.
The value on those cars got to be going down.
I would think so.
Right?
Yeah, I can tell you that we talked to Hyundai, not me, but Allstate did, and about 50% of the cars have been upgraded and fixed. Kia hasn't really responded to that part of it yet.
Key is like, we already sold them, so
Right.
it's up to you.
So
Wasn't us.
and some folks don't realize that. So when people call in to add a car, if they already are a client, we will add those cars.
Yeah.
But we will also inform them of what's going on to make sure they want to buy that. And I've had a few folks back out of it because of it, just to make sure that I'm not trying to deter them. And I tell them, I'm not trying to deter you, just want to make sure you're informed of what's been going on. I don't know if this had the upgrade. I would ask that question to whoever you're buying the car from.
Yeah.
And this is going to potentially, you're going to see that cost inflated with that.
Or slip them like a business card to a local dealership.
Right. Perfect.
My friend Joey at Kia will help you.
Oh no.
Yeah, but like, what do you expect when like? And I'm sorry, this is gonna get political. Like when there's no like you,
Reform.
you get arrested, but you don't get arrested. Here's a citation. Take a show by court.
It's
If
a
they
free it's a free for all.
start punishing people for committing crimes, and they'll probably think twice before they commit a crime.
If they, it would be nice.
I mean, to me, that's common sense, but I don't know. Apparently, all these smart politicians lack it.
It's very frustrating to have phone calls come in, especially from the elderly who are on a very fixed budget and income. And, I offered them every suggestion possible. The last thing I like to change is their coverages, but I also, have to do what helps them to pay their bills. So it's a very, we care so much at my agency. I care about these folks. I don't want them going through this. I don't control the rates. Agents do not control the rates, just a little FYI.
Say that one more time.
Agents do not
Do
control
not.
the rates. Yes.
Okay.
I wish we did, but I probably wouldn't be in business if I did. So, because I have such a big heart, it kills me to see these folks struggling. My policy gets affected like everybody else's. It's unfortunate to what we're in right now, and again, it's very trying and very tough. So we just try to navigate the best we can by doing a policy review, navigating through what's going on in your life. Do you drive this much? Do you not drive that much? There's a lot of different variations of what we try to approach when you're bringing your policy for us to review. Even if you're not my client, I'll review it for you. I've done this. And I'm like, listen, you need this, and this increase. It's probably going to cost you $5 more every 6 months, but those coverages are huge.
And Liz, if somebody wants to just kind of reach out to you and get a quote from you, again, your best way to communicate with you?
Is my email address or my phone number. My phone number is 585-924-1706. And my email is ebieheler@allstate.com.
Where's your location? You guys
Victor,
look
New
at
York.
Victor, New York.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I insure all over New York State. So and the majority of my business, 99% of it is phone and email.
Really? So like if I email you or call you, get a quote, and we could work everything out via email and phone and okay.
Yep, I even have a text line.
So if I'm in Buffalo, I don't have to drive out to Victor, New York.
Nope.
What are you trying to say about Victor now?
Hey, I try to avoid that place.
Hyundai, hockey
lot of
players,
Hyundais.
Victor. Man,
No Hyundais.
his family,
There's
his
there's
wife,
actually
his son,
no-
he's picking everyone off today.
Hey, you say I drive 55 and a 75.
I said it.
This is backlash.
You
okay?
mentioned smart watch and he goes nuts.
Yeah, lack of smartwatch. That's why.
Well, so we should tell your wife to buy you a smartwatch for Christmas.
Correct.
Definitely.
Are you listening, honey?
He's
No,
gonna be
I actually don't want one. I don't want one.
Please
Cancel
don't do that. Every 5 minutes he's gonna say, "How do I do this? What do I do?"
But that'd bother Constantine.
Yeah,
Constantine, you got
please.
10 minutes for
No,
my
no,
tech
no, no.
issues?
No.
I need a horse and buggy. Let's go back old school.
That's why I drive 55 and a 75.
That's it. Because my carrier pigeon has to keep up with me.
So really quick in closing before we wrap up, just curious to know if there's any major changes we should know about with either rates or process with insurance. Interest rates are higher. Everything costs more. How are things going with the business?
So, in general, the insurance rates, I've seen every carrier an increase on average 12 to 43%.
And is that home and auto or
Home and auto.
home and
12
auto?
to 43%?
Oh wait, you said 43?
Each company, so it's not
Ouch.
on variation because some companies, the reason being is, not to get political, but when we can't take rate as a company and we lose a lot of money to claim. So perfect example, we were at Allstate, we were supposed to pay out probably I think it was $500 million in claims, and we're well over that, double that, just in claims this year alone. So those are part of the reasons why the prices have gone up, but we're not able to take rate in New York State or California because of the restrictions. We're reduced to how much we can take. So it's caused most insurance companies in New York State to be negative, which impacts the business being open.
Well, yeah, negative is not good
So,
usually.
so it caps. What does it cap again? I'm sorry.
So anywhere, depending on the company,
Yeah.
you're seeing an increase of 11 to 43%,
Yep.
depending on the company. Each company's different.
Yep.
The smaller companies are able to get a bigger rate increase versus the bigger companies.
Okay.
Not sure how that makes sense, but
No,
okay.
But that's all derived by the companies in New York State approving it, the DFS.
Mm.
So if they don't approve the rate increase, we have hard restrictions, so it's hard to write folks and get them good insurance.
But put that into perspective for just a minute. Think of the cost of everything right now. You go to the grocery store, Wegmans, Tops,
Yeah.
Walmart, food has gone up. If you get your car repaired,
Oh
if
my
you have your
gosh.
home repaired,
Mhm.
I know across the board, we did construction on this building. Everything is very high.
Correct.
So the premium increasing makes sense because you have to pay it a lot more when you
More
have
for
claims.
labor, more for parts.
Yep.
Okay.
We're still a backlog for parts.
Mm.
We're still. It used to be. I mean, during COVID, it was 4 months. I think we're still at 30 days. I mean, then you had people go on strike. and
Well, yeah, the
that's-
strikes are not going to help the
It's not
car
gonna help.
industry.
And then we have now the Mack trucks that 4,000 drivers are going on strike or something to that nature. So all of these things, and I understand the reasons behind why folks do what they do, and that's fine. But all of this is causing the inflation not to get better. It's just adding fuel to the fire. It's not making it any easier because now we have again more parts being delayed because the truck drivers are on strike, and then we have the factories on strike. So everything is just domino effect, really really bad. It's just I don't see it getting better in the next year personally.
That doesn't sound too promising.
Yeah.
I'm being honest. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the more increased
We know who
Disasters?
Liz is not voting for.
We usually ask for your vote, but don't
Yes,
worry, we already
yes,
got
yes,
it.
it's
We got
fine,
it.
it's
Loud
fine.
and clear.
We read between the lines.
perfect. I cannot wait for the backlash of this.
Yes.
Perfect.
Well, honestly, Liz, it was really a treat, first of all, to see you as a friend, a colleague.
Yes,
I
yes.
haven't seen you in a while.
I know.
Have you on the show to tell us more about what you do and how you help and serve in your community. You're a small business owner as well, just like we are, which is
Yes.
awesome. Got to support that. Again, Liz Beeler from Allstate, thanks again for being on the show.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Liz.
Appreciate it.
You've been listening to Pennywise Financial, brought to you by Monarch Wealth Management. Constantine and David really care about their clients. They want to make sure you're happy, so you'll continue to hire them. There's no commitments, and clients are free to leave whenever they want. Think about being able to pick up the phone and call someone for guidance and advice on almost anything, from buying a car, selling a home, buying vacation properties, or even selling a business. Reach out on the website at monarchwealthmanagement.com. There are 2 offices in Rochester and 2 offices in Buffalo. Reach out to us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube, or call us toll-free at 800-480-1580. That's 800-480-1580. Until next time, this is Pennywise Financial, signing off.
The opinions voiced in this program are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult with your attorney, accountant, and financial advisor or tax advisor prior to investing. Securities are offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, and SIPC.